That's specifically what Tucker said on that podcast, was saying that the one thing that the government is trying to not let people believe that any of this spiritual stuff is correct.
What I find so striking about the UFOs, this is the main takeaway I have, is like there's this debate like, is this stuff, these phenomena, which are clearly, obviously real? I mean, there's no debate about that. There's a lot of shit that people can't explain in the sky and underwater. We know that. Fact. So the debate is this government technology? Is it from outer space, or is it some spiritual realm here? I've already told you my view of it. But what I find so interesting, we know the government's lied about it. They're lying about it now. That's a fact. There's no way around that. They have absolutely lied about it in very elaborate ways. I am really struck, here's my current thinking on it. The main effort that the US government has put into its disinformation, its lying on this topic, has been not to mislead you on the technology. Like, they're not telling me they don't have anti-gravity technology. It sounds from watching your podcast that they do, which I believe. No problem believing that. Their main interest is in convincing you that the supernatural is not real. And if you watch, and there are people in the media who specialize in spreading these lies on behalf of the government. I'm not going to name anybody, but like some of them work at the New York Times. Once you realize what the point of the exercise is, it's crazy. And I hope you'll assess all the fact-checking and the skepticism on UAPs through this lens. The main thing they want you to believe is the supernatural is not real. Well, then you have to ask yourself, like, why?
That's interesting.
It is so interesting. Why is that important to you?
It does seem like it. Again, this sounds correct what he's saying, that there quickly came out with all this disclosure about UFOs and non-human biologics and every weird thing about, potential interdimensional aliens and motherships. Was that all dumped out there in order to say, well, they're obviously not demons or angels? Like, that's preposterous, but they could be literally coming from some mothership in outer space. Like, was that the government trying to get out in front of all of the stuff to counter the stuff that we've been talking about?
I think so, in some ways, yeah. It seems like the fake alien invasion has been like a brainchild of theirs for 100 years, since the advent of media and the War of the Worlds broadcast. They've been trying to get people terrified of aliens coming and taking over since time immemorial. That's kind of the end goal. And for then people like us to be going around saying, that isn't the case. If anything does turn up, we're talking about spiritual entities here, not things from vast universes millions of miles away.
Mm-hmm.
And because we're getting more traction saying this, they had to do something, and they had to try and keep that narrative going that aliens are just around the corner, because they're planning to do a false alien invasion of some kind, and we've known this for a long time. But to what end? We've always kind of struggled to figure out what the end goal is, and I think we may be starting to suss it now with the whole Millennial Kingdom theory. I think we're realizing now, okay, the alien invasion stuff makes a lot of sense. If
the alien invasion stuff makes even more sense with the Millennial Kingdom than what we were thinking if this is the end times.